Hi everyone, my name is Charles Austian, and my project proposal is on creating a sustainable tiny home community plan in Dahlonega, Georgia. The tiny home movement can be traced back to the 1840s Transcendentalism movement, which was championed by Henry David Thoreau, who was an American naturalist, poet, and philosopher. The United States-based tiny house movement appropriates ideas that mirror Thoreau's philosophy on transcendentalism, which calls for voluntary simplicity and minimalism. In its commodified version, the movement echoes aspects of the United States in its frontier ethos of manifest destiny. Manifest destiny, which stressed rugged individualism and to some extent elite environmentalism. This classical role of dwellings in the natural environment is a stark contrast when compared to contemporary or modern roles of dwellings. Traditional houses can cost upwards to $120,000 at their cheapest, while build-it-yourself tiny homes can cost as little as $20,000. And constructing them yourself can cut the prices all the way down to $5,000. In the United States alone, there are numerous cities and municipalities that have constructed tiny home communities. Some include Asheville, North Carolina, Tallahassee, Florida, Portland, Oregon, and Fresno, California. So, why are people looking to downsize? Well, for one, downsizing directly enhances the quality of life of the tenant by lowering overall expenses and encouraging occupants to spend less because, of a lack of space. And it also encourages them to be a steward more. The benefits of a tiny home community can permeate to the greater community and encourage others to downsize as well, which could enhance the overall community's quality of life. Downsizing also offers an opportunity to further save money by spending less on utilities. By reducing the number of electronics and the number of faucets, tiny homes can make it difficult for occupants to push a certain threshold of usage. So tiny home community bills are usually $35 to $50 depending on your area. And last, downsizing can help reduce a person's overall ecological footprint. On average, people who downsize to a tiny home reduce their energy consumption by as much as 45%, which is a significant reduction in CO2 and other greenhouse gases. The purpose of my proposal is to design a tiny home community that is economically feasible as well as environmentally sustainable. The community will be in Dahlonega, Georgia, which is a community about 35 minutes north of Atlanta. My objectives are to design a community that enhances everyone's quality of life, reduces the utility bills of its occupants, and mitigates the occupants' ecological footprint. Through this design plan, I hope to inspire and encourage individuals to adopt sustainable lifestyles that may not only benefit them, but others as well. The community plan will demonstrate sustainable development, environmentally friendly home design, and efficient material use. People around the globe are embracing a minimalist lifestyle and are downsizing to tiny houses. There are two aspects of regulations that I had to consider for my project. The site regulations as well as the unit regulations. Potential tiny homes must adhere to specific standards and regulations set by the American Tiny Home Association, which outlines the requirements for a unit to be considered tiny. They are as follows. There must be at least one full bathroom with a ceiling height of at least 6 feet 4 inches. There must be a ceiling height of 6 feet 8 inches in all common areas. If there's a loft, you must have a ladder or stairs constructed. There must be at least one window that can be utilized as an emergency exit. And the home itself must be in compliance with either International Residential Code or the International Building Code. As is the case with other types of homes, building codes and zoning regulations may impact tiny home construction and placement. Most of these codes and regulations are established at the state level, while others are determined by the county or city that it's in. In Georgia specifically, tiny home regulations are pretty relaxed. Since the difference between tiny homes on foundations and tiny homes that are mobile have not yet been addressed from a regulatory standpoint, most jurisdictions within Georgia only require that the tiny homes comply with the 2012 Residential Code. There are certain sustainable building materials that we want to use in the construction of the tiny homes due to their multifunctionality, low price, and their long-term structural health. They are included but not limited to lumber cut in specific dimensions and aluminum trim that would be used for exterior walls, interior walls, as well as roofing. Although these materials may be used for certain reasons, these are materials that you could use for other reasons. My plan is for the units to utilize a combination of solar panels, liquefied petroleum gas, and generators to create a sustainable loop of low cost, long term power generation. A simple outlet could also be used to power the whole house, as long as it can sustain the house itself as well as all the appliances that are utilized at that time. I can determine the overall energy threshold that each unit can take by calculating the total voltage of the appliances and converting that to amps. You can see the example below for more details. Many metropolitan areas, unintentionally or intentionally, discourage the construction of tiny homes through expensive permitting processes and costly connection fees to sewer and water. Luckily, as I said before, Atlanta's regulations are pretty lax in terms of tiny homes, and their process for establishing utility connection only costs about $350 per unit, which is pretty cheap. Shown below are a few programs that I'm using to analyze and process the technical aspects of my project. They are Edge Buildings, Lead for Homes, SketchUp, and ArcGIS. You may already know about them, but I'll elaborate on how I'm utilizing them for my project. The Edge Buildings app is essentially the software that calculates the utility savings and reduced carbon footprint of your building against the base case. There's a dashboard that shows you how much extra money it costs to build it, and as well as the reduced costs that you get from implementing it. Once your energy, water, or embodied energy and material savings is reduced by at least 20%, you will earn a EDGE certification, meaning that that building is green by EDGE standards. So I'll utilize Edge in conjunction with Lead for Homes as well as SketchUp to design and conceptualize the most green unit possible. Next, I'll consult Lead for Residential Homes to ensure that the building itself, the unit itself, is, providing some type of sustainable benefits to the occupant as well as the environment around. They're also geared towards designing to ensure for human comfort and to promote health. By using LEED sustainable strategies, homeowners are having, net positive impact on their not only their homes but their communities as a whole. Next, I'll be utilizing SketchUp, which is an intuitive web-based 3D modeling program that allows you to conceptualize and create buildings and site plans from scratch. You can make things that are architectural, you can make interior design plans, you can even make landscape architecture projects. So that'll play a huge role in my project. Lastly, I'll be utilizing ArcGIS from Esri, which helps its users conceptualize, analyze, survey, and model natural systems and processes within nature, like water or land features. Not only can you conceptualize and analyze these different features, you can also visualize them utilizing strong analytic and visualization tools that the GIS software provides itself. The spatial analysis of the site will likely be, one of the largest aspects of the project. A lot of things will fall on, the health of the land, whether or not it's sizable enough, things like that. Why does all of this matter? If research regarding projected global population trends are correct, then by 2050, the urban sprawl and socioeconomic inequalities within cities and other urban areas will be at extremely problematic levels, more so than they are now. In the US alone, it is projected that there will be the same number of Americans living in cities as there are in the entire nation today. Issues like climate change, environmental detachment, economic disparities, all of those have the potential to be mitigated through the tiny home movement. Tiny homes offer an alternative to the unsustainable and cost-intensive construction of conventional homes. This tiny home neighborhood plan will provide its potential residents an opportunity to reclaim their financial freedom while encouraging sustainability, thereby positively impacting the planet and providing community support to like-minded individuals. Not only that, but tiny homes have the potential to be a worthwhile solution to explore in suburban communities as well as communities teetering between rural and suburban. These numerous and abundant patches of land in tandem with tiny home movement could be the perfect catalyst that could help alleviate some of the socioeconomic and environmental issues in the near future. Thank you for listening.